One thing about me, I refuse to play chess with a pigeon. You can make all the right moves, study strategy, hell you could even be a grandmaster. But all that pigeon's going to do is shit all over the board and then strut around acting like it won. So when a fellow waitress at a well-known Americana chain prided herself on how much of a bad bitch she was, I didn't say anything. Let's call her Trailer Park. She was classic 2010s trash, mustache tattoo on the finger and all. I nodded and ignored her when she threw temper tantrums accusing me of stealing her man. It was a line cooked with a classic Pete Davidson / wet cigarette build. He bummed one cig from me. Which was the most we had ever spoken, by the way. Unfortunately, due to the shithole we worked at, people quit or were fired pretty often for even worse offenses than being a bitch at work. She'd been written up more than enough times, but when you need a warm body to close, you make do with what you got. I could go into detail on the numerous instances I was called fat, slow, stupid, lazy, a spoiled little rich girl, etc., but what Trailer Park didn't know was that I had spent 2 decades of my life in a sport that fosters a very toxic environment. Her tirades were gentle coaching / parenting compared to what I grew up with. Her tantrums felt so childish and amateurish in comparison. I never responded other than to ask if she was done so I could get my drink / appetizers, etc. each time she crowed that I knew better than to step to her, etc. But 2 places where Trailer Park messed up, she thought that silence meant acceptance, and never shut up about her own drama. I knew that if she lost her job, her aunt would kick her out and she'd have to move quite a few states away to stay with a distant cousin. The second thing you should know about me is, I will make time. This is going to sound arrogant, but I don't care. I was a phenomenal waitress. When I left the place in this story, I quickly climbed to much nicer places and did very well there. I'm fast, grew up doing farm work so I was strong as hell, I have an eidetic memory, and I can be charmingly southern and sassy while never being disrespectful. I would say that was part of Trailer Park's problem with me, but that would imply that she paid attention to the world outside of her baby daddy drama. So over the course of about 6 weeks, I made sure to set Trailer Park up for her most explosive tantrum series yet. Like a lot of places, you had to roll a certain amount of clean silverware up in napkins when your shift was done. We also had shift side work that was necessary, like keeping ice full, changing syrups, refilling sauces, that kind of thing. I would repeatedly steal 5 to 10 plus silverware rolls from her basket, unwrap them, hide the napkins in the trash, and put the silverware in the dish pit. One time I completely put away her little rolling station she had made in an unused booth. She threw a fit of course, but when you're already a giant bitch and the restaurant is on a skeleton crew, no one is going to check the cameras or check in on the quiet, trustworthy employee. Me. If her side work was refilling ice that day, I would hide one of the buckets in a back corner of the freezer. She refused to wear non-slips and threw a fit when she fell while making a bunch of trips back and forth. Again, no one cared to check the cameras or even look for the other bucket. The manager even accused her of breaking the missing bucket since she had a history of throwing things, which made her erupt into an Oscar-worthy meltdown in front of customers. One time I specifically hid both buckets once I saw her get seated with a party of 10. It sucked for me too, since I had to get it from the very back, but I was playing the long game. I threw away the lemons she had just cut all the way out in the dumpster while keeping my own little stash in the bar fridge. She called the manager fucking stupid when he asked her where they were. If she left a pen out, best believe that shit was going in the garbage. I think it was a Thursday when she realized she didn't have any pens in her apron and proceeded to lose her mind on the manager, again. Instead of asking for a pen like a normal human. She used to leave her cigarettes out back instead of having to go and fetch them when she took a break. I also smoked at the time, but a very different brand. Each time I was out there without her, I would take anywhere from 2 to 6 out of her pack and crumble them up in the dumpster. One evening this caused her to run out of cigs, and you can guess how well she handled that. For weeks I kept this up, no one the wiser. Finally she lost her temper one too many times and the manager had her removed from the building mid-shift. The whole time, she never knew it was me. I didn't need her to know, I needed her gone like a freight train. Even the day she was removed, another employee mentioned that Trailer Park had been getting really stressed recently and asked if I thought she was back on drugs again. We hired a perfectly nice but horribly incompetent teenager in her place. I trained them up nice and had a peaceful last few months. And I rode off into the sunset, LMFAO playing in the distance. So, moral of the story, don't be a bitch at work. Edited to fix spelling errors. Trailer Park may have been sloppy but I am not.